Today's film truly asks two very important questions. What would you do? And what can you do? I'm of course talking about the 1960s psychological thriller, Bunny Lake is Missing. Now, this movie is kind of a hidden gem. It's not oft talked about when it comes to like really great psychological horrors. It's very well respected in the film like circles, trust and believe me that. But it's kind of an overlooked, often forgotten gem in the realm of true psychological horror that transcends the time it was made and feels so relevant today. And a lot of the central themes of this movie still hit home, especially if you're a parent. It's one of your worst fears ever imaginable. Let's get into it, shall we? Now, Bunny Lake is Missing stars Carol Lynley and a very understated performance from Laurance Olivier. Now, this is set in the 1960s, and the premise is quite simple. A woman and her brother are moving over to the UK from the United States, and her brother's stationed there. He's in the military. He's got a whole life set up for them. He wants to take them out of America and raise them someplace fabulous and different than what they're going to be used to in the States. Anne takes her daughter, Bunny, with her. And Anne and her brother are very, very close. And Anne adores her little daughter, Bunny. But one thing you'll notice when you watch this movie and it starts is you never really see Bunny the entire time. We're taken through Anne's morning routine, and this movie truly does ask the question, what do you do if your morning routine suddenly is your undoing? She does things that everybody does. She's talking to her movers, she leaves things unattended, she has a troublesome neighbor that she has to usher out of her house. She's in a hurry and she has errands to run, so she has to drop Bunny off at her new school and go and run errands because she wants to make chicken later. So, fried chicken. So trust me and believe, when it comes to making fried chicken, you gotta love somebody to make them that because that is a whole production. You have to budget your whole day around that.
Please be on time for dinner. I'm making fried chicken just for you.
I'll be home at 6:30 sharp.
We are following her all throughout, running her errands, dropping things off, taking the bus with her daughter, dropping her off at school, and we spend quite a bit of time. We've noticed that she's in a hurry. She can't really stay and introduce herself to the teacher because she has to get going and run the errands or else she's going to be late and she's not going to be there in time for when Steven comes home, her brother. She ends up leaving Bunny and taking her over to the introductory class where the kids are all set and then picked up by their teachers. She thinks nothing of it and she leaves. We follow her doing all of her errands, dropping things off, getting the materials and groceries for what she needs. But when she comes back to the school is when the true horror starts to set in. She's watching all these parents picking up their children, and all these little other 4-year-olds, these little kindergartners, are getting picked up and they're getting ushered away. And she begins to get a little concerned. She's trying her best to play it down, but she's asking all the other mothers, am I in the right place? This is the right time, right? I'm pretty sure I had everything scheduled just right. And they're all telling her, yes, we're all here picking up our kids.
Excuse me, what class is your little girl in? The fourth. So's mine, but I can't seem to find her. Miss Daphne's in charge of the fourth. She could tell you.
Soon enough, all the classes have let out, and Bunny's nowhere to be seen. So this raises some alarms for her. She starts going around and asking teachers hey, am I in the right place? Because I'm trying to figure out where my daughter's classroom is, and none of her things are here. I can't find her anywhere. Here's where it really starts to get unsettling, and it really starts to dive into the late 1960s sensibilities when it comes to these kind of things. The teachers and everyone in the school is shockingly cavalier about the situation. They're so unserious. Today's lens, they'd shut down the whole school if a kid goes missing on their watch. But they're kind of all just oh, well, maybe somebody else picked her up. Maybe she went home with a friend. Maybe she's just hiding. Maybe she fell asleep somewhere. This happens all the time. And Anne's inclined to try and go along with this because in her mind, she wants the most simple, easy, and wonderful solution to be the one that it is, rather than where is my child and what happened to her and why can't I find her? She's desperate. She's hoping and praying that it's something just mundane like that. But they end up going along and searching the whole school. They flip it upside down. There is no trace of this little girl anywhere. They eventually go up to a head teacher's flat above the school, which is a very weird thing. I guess this must be a common thing in Britain at that time, but never in my life did I ever hear about a flat being above a school. But I digress. And the woman is kind of weird. This woman that works at the school, she's almost seems like she's kind of thrilled with the excitement of a child going missing on their watch. And she has a very peculiar hobby where she records little kids' dreams, especially their nightmares. And she's listening to it back. And Anne, as she's going up the stairs, she hears a little girl talking about her dreams. And it sounds fucking weird. And she's even taken aback by this and calls it out this woman is bizarre.
You try, and the most awful
Who is it?
teeth. What this dog has hundreds of teeth just to mash you up with, to mash you right up. And
Such imagination. We might think of teeth gnashing, but mashing. which is exactly what they do, of course.
Like, what a morbid little hobby to have. And the way she talks to Anne is kind of just like, oh, don't yo, making a mountain out of a molehill. Children go missing all the time and they always turn up. Which is like, is this like a sensibility of the 1960s? Hear me out. I'm a child of stranger danger. Like, you always had to have an eye out for cars, and you always had to like be very, very cautious of strangers. You didn't talk to them. You got home at a certain time. Because like when I was growing up, kids went missing a lot, and it was a huge deal on the news. So we always took it very, very seriously. So when you're watching this movie, it kind of sets you back like, fuck, why is everyone being so cavalier about this? Eventually, the head of the school comes, played by Laurance Olivier, and you can tell he is over it. Like, he's over his entire job, and seems a bit intrigued by Anne because they start to question her, and the one mysterious thing that keeps standing out, the one detail that is not working in Anne's favor is they have no record of Bunny Lake at their school. Like, they have no transcripts, they have no deposits, they have nothing proving that she's actually been to the school or was going to attend. Eventually, her brother Stephen shows up and starts acting a fool, girl.
Who took the child out of here? Think about it, Miss Smollett. Calm down and begin to think.
Can I when you scream at me?
Forgive me, perhaps we're all a little overexcited.
Which also kind of hurts her credibility because they both look like they're overreacting people, and they're starting to doubt her a little bit. And we start to get to that one major problem when it comes to a situation like this is, are you trying to tell me that you don't think my daughter exists? And this is one of those things that really hits Anne hard. And it's one of those things you can't help. Everyone will react the way she reacts, where it's like, are you crazy? Like, why would I make this up? To which...
Then I take it you'd agree with me? She'd scarcely be buying playthings for a non-existent child.
Non-existent? Did I say that?
You suggested to my sister that perhaps Bunny's things were never in the apartment.
It's very understandable on their ends because especially when I worked at banks, there was a saying called protect your ass, where you're always supposed to assume that whoever has a problem is probably not telling the whole truth. So, especially at school, they're not going to want to say that a kid was lost on their watch. So you can tell they're definitely protecting themselves and trying to find a solution, a workaround, and trying to like bury her in paperwork to where they don't have to address this situation and hoping it's just like the most easy solution possible instead of the worst outcome. Soon enough, they start really grilling Anne and getting investigators involved. And the one tragic thing is just like, she is panicking because the moment a child is missing, the first few hours are some of the most vital. Like, you have to really get things moving on this. Otherwise, valuable time is slipping away and you don't know what's going to happen. These hours are precious and she can't waste them. And she keeps feeling they're wasting her time. They're taking her in circles as far as conversations are going through her routine, asking her why they didn't do this, asking her why it's just a picture of her daughter, and they just moved over. They haven't arrived yet. She's trying to tell them that, like, look, I don't have any of this stuff. And it's terrifying to think about, like, what do you do in a situation like this where mundane, easy to ignore chores or the decisions you make as a parent where it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I'm going to take the easiest workaround of this to save myself time. Like those small decisions all parents make, where it's not so much like a mistake. It's just, I had to sacrifice this in order to make this work because I don't have all the time in the world. Those little small decisions that people often overlook can sometimes be your undoing and sometimes really hurt your credibility should something spectacular happen and you have no evidence. And that's what's really hurting her. And like, she's going around in circles. They have people going to her house and digging through everything. And when she goes to her house, something horrifying happens. All of Bunny's stuff is gone.
All the child's things are missing. Mug, bib, one bathrobe, pink, one nightgown, slippers, teddy bear, everything. And the passport, of course.
There's no proof of anything. Like, the nursery she had just set up is completely empty. Like, there's nothing there. And she's in awe because she just put all this out. She's like, how is this possible? Like, my daughter is here. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I have a daughter. And it's turning into a changeling situation where she's panicking and going to a panic mode. And it's making her seem less and less credible. And even inspectors are starting to think, like, I don't think this girl exists. Like, she can't produce even the simplest amount of evidence. Like, they all are doubting her. And it is so terrifying, especially from a parental perspective. Like, that's your one greatest fear, is that something is wrong. And worse than that, no one is taking you seriously. And all of her problems are being dismissed. And they're not taking the situation with any kind of importance. Anne is scrambling. And she's trying to find any shred of evidence she can to Bunny's existence. And the sad part is, like, she's fresh here. She doesn't have any of her important documents yet, like birth certificates and all that stuff hasn't arrived. So she's clinging to small things like receipts for a toy shop or a piece of candy she bought for her birthday. Like these kind of things where if you were trying to prove someone's existence, they could easily write it off as you probably just made this up and you're just buying something to like as a comfort to yourself or to help prove your illusion to yourself. Like they all are treating her as if she's delusional. And the unfortunate thing is that things keep happening that make her appear less and less credible. Now, I think this movie hits a bit home for me because back in Milwaukee, we had a similar case where there was a case of a girl named Alexis Patterson. When I was in 5th grade, it was a big, big case in Milwaukee where she went to school. And then when her mother came to pick her up, no one knows what happened to her. Like they had no recollection of her leaving. They don't know where she was and where she went. And it was terrifying. And it's since been a cold case in Milwaukee for years now. And it's one of those terrifying thoughts of just like the small decisions you make as a parent can sometimes affect you more greater than you think. It's like, I didn't get there on time to pick her up. And this is that small window of opportunity for something catastrophic to happen. And especially in the 80s and 90s, like missing kids cases like this, when you think of like Adam Walsh or Johnny Gosh, or all these like very, very famous cases of missing kids, it's your worst fear. Like just a second you turn your back, something horrible could happen. And I feel like that's where the real horror and terror comes from this movie. How do you stay calm in a situation where everyone is treating you like it's not important and it's not a big deal? And you know, like these hours are so crucial. I feel like that's where the true terror comes from this movie. Now, Carol Lynley's performance is incredible. Like she has this voice about her where everything she says sounds like a question. So where it makes her seem more and more like she's grandiose and telling tall tales. And you can see like why these English people don't take her seriously because everything she says is left with a question mark.
Now that door, was that open or shut?
Shut, I think.
Such a good performance. And it's such a good choice for casting. And Laurance Olivier is very, very tender in this. Like he's very warm. If you just watch from Rebecca, it's a total tonal switch. He's curious about her, but also very curious about her brother. He's trying to figure out if she's telling the truth or not, or if they have some kind of strange psychological bond where they might have made Bunny up and it's just a comfort for them and they've just entangled everybody in their weird psychological games. You as an audience are watching this and you start to think, maybe this is a possibility. Like movies in the 1960s have taught us like you can't necessarily trust everything you hear and your narrator that you're following sometimes isn't reliable. So it's all possible that maybe Anne made Bunny up and she doesn't exist. I love this movie. I saw this back when I was in high school and was gripped because it's one of those things where it's like it hit really close to home. It's one of those fears you have as a parent or if you ever like have nephews or nieces or anything like that. Like if you're a babysitter, you fear that like should someone be lost in your care, what kind of panic it sends through you. Like I remember when I was washing dishes, when I was watching my nephew, he was playing in the backyard. And from my vantage point, I could see him as I was cleaning. And my sister came and picked him up and didn't tell me. So 40 minutes go by, I finish the dishes and it's eerily quiet. And I go out to look for him and notice he's not there. And I went into full blown panic mode. And it really put me in the mindset of this movie where it's just like, oh my God, like I turned my back for the smallest amount of time and the worst thing imaginable happened. And just like, you can't think rationally in this situation. Like, how can you? Like, it's so hard to bring yourself down to where you have to like really get organized and think about how everything went. Like nothing's going to come out right. Your stories are going to get mixed up. It's really, really hard to seem credible. And that's why I really love this movie because it really dives into a fear of a parent, especially with women, where it's very often that people don't believe you or don't take it seriously or aren't acting and doing things quickly enough because they have to follow protocol. Now, Bunny Lake is missing. I won't spoil anything more for you. I'll just say this. In case you're very, very sensitive to like certain topics like this, I'll let you know right ahead now. Like, fortunately for this, it has a clear resolution, which is one of the unfortunate things about life when it comes to cases like this is oftentimes things go unanswered. In this movie, you get answers. And I think you should really check it out. It's a hidden gem. It'll grip you. It's very good. There's very, very good performances. Like Carol Lynley's performance is so good. Like you really, like you're with her the whole movie and you are feeling for her. Like you're truly just like, your soul is crushing watching her trying to navigate this strange city with all these new people that she doesn't know and no one knows her. So it's really easy to put yourself in a situation where you're not going to be believed. And the people that she's encountering aren't monsters. They just have to follow routine. Like they have to. These are just the things they have to do. Let me know if you watch this in theaters. Let me know if you've ever seen Bunny Lake is Missing. Be sure and check it out. It is available online. Just Google it or go on YouTube. It's available in certain ways. But yeah, definitely check out Bunny Lake is Missing. Let me know what you thought about it. And let's have a conversation down below because this one really stuck with me. It is a hidden gem, but it hits, man. It is a brutal watch, but so good. Get into Bunny Lake is Missing. All right? I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye!
Woman is crazy.
Don't you think we all are to one degree or another?
Well, it's over now. Click my next YouTube video. Like, comment, and subscribe.